Shalom and welcome back to the Rashi Nosh. I'm Pastor Matt.
And I'm Kara.
First of all, let us wish you L'Shana Tova, a Happy New Year. We are now in 5786, and you may be feeling like we want to leave the last year behind and really look forward to the future. I know I'm really looking forward to this year, so thank you for being with us for another year, and in just a couple of short weeks, we'll be starting off all the way back in Genesis at the beginning of the Torah as we re-roll the scroll. So thank you for joining with us, and a Happy New Year to you, and all the best to you and your family. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel, and if you would like, leave a comment and a like on this video so that the algorithm will pick us up, and please share this video on your social media platforms as well. So this week we are in this Torah portion called Ha'azinu, and this is a song of remembrance. And we're going to specifically look at Moses not being able to go into the promised land. And so we're going to look at a heading here on page 179 called Consolation Prizes. So I will read this to us and then we'll have our discussion questions. The long-running game show The Price is Right likely popularized the notion of a consolation prize. Winning contestants have been awarded valuable prizes such as a new car, and runners-up have received consolation prizes such as a year's supply of rice-a-roni. Delicious. A verse in this week's Parasha discusses a consolation prize for Moses, so to speak. You may view the land from a distance, but you shall not enter it, the land that I am giving to the Israelite people. This is from Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 52. So Rashi explains why Moses was shown the land from afar. But you shall not enter it. But I know that the land is dear to you. That's why I say to you, go up to the mountain and see it. Despite his great love for the land of Israel, Moses was not allowed to enter the land. However, as Rashi explains, Moses was given a consolation prize, so to speak, the opportunity to view the land from a distance. There is a modern parallel in Israel to this episode. During the 1948 War of Independence, all the residents of the Jewish community of Kfar Etzion, just south of Jerusalem, were either driven from their homes or killed in a brutal attack that left this area under Arab control. For the next 19 years, until the Six-Day War, the former residents gathered annually in Jerusalem to gaze from afar at the lone oak tree that marked the site of their former homes. Following the Six-Day War, Jews returned to this area and established the community of Alon Shvut, Oak of Return, whose name is derived from its location adjacent to this iconic oak tree. Our discussion questions ask us about consolation prizes. Describe a time, if you have one, that you did not attain the goal or result that you pursued, but you did achieve a lesser result that could be considered a consolation prize. How did you feel about it at the time? How do you feel about it now? When I was in the 5th grade, it was the only year that I played baseball. And we were a minor league team, which was slightly different than Little League. It wasn't Little League, it was minor league. There was a slight difference. We used a pitching machine. We didn't have somebody pitching. You had to be in the grade above that, apparently, to have an actual pitcher. So it was a pitching machine. Now, I had never played baseball on a team before, but it was a lot of fun. And our team did very well. We kept winning game after game after game, and we actually got to sort of what would be like, you know, the World Series of our little league there. And the last game we lost and we got second place. And for some reason, it felt at the time we were sad, even though second place is not bad, but you know, for us in the 5th grade, you know, as 10-year-olds, we thought, oh, we were so close, we didn't quite get it. Yeah. Now looking back, I mean, we got a trophy. We actually got a little trophy that said second place with a little baseball player with a bat. And so it was kind of special when I look back on it. I'm glad we won anything. But at the time, I think we were so focused on we wanted to come in first place that's all we could put our minds to. And so we couldn't, in that moment, you know, be be only thankful for the win that we had. We were also a little bit disappointed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any time in your life where you experienced something similar?
I'm trying to think.
If not, that's okay. We have
I
another
mean,
question.
obviously, coaching volleyball, we have a lot of instances, same thing, where we were in tournaments, and we didn't make it as to the top like we wanted, and we would get, a trophy for second or for the second, the silver bracket as opposed to the gold bracket or things like that. So we'd still get a prize, but it wasn't, it wasn't what we were going for, but it was, still something. Um, that those are easy to think of. I'm trying to think of me personally if I was ever anything.
Didn't you try out for a talent show in high school? And
I did go for Miss Deltona. Yes, I tried out for Miss
wow,
Deltona, and I did make it to the top five.
did you receive a consolation prize for that?
Probably. I couldn't tell you what it was at this point. That was so long ago, but
Was it a year's supply of rice-a-roni?
probably something similar.
Oh.
But no, I'm sure it was like a school T-shirt or something. Probably nothing that I really cared about. But yeah, obviously the goal was to try to make it all the way, but not really. Actually, I just did it for fun because my best friend wanted to do it and she was like anxious to do it. So I mostly just did it to do it with her. But
And it is fun just to try
yeah,
something that has some risk attached to it.
yeah,
And, so even if you don't win first prize, sometimes there's a benefit to
yeah,
trying and
yeah.
putting forth your best effort. We'll do one more discussion question here as we close out. In life, things rarely work out as intended. This fact has given rise to the expression, life is all about how you handle plan B. What was the plan A that you once conceived, and how does it compare to the plan B with which you live? Now, when I was a kid, the only thing I wanted to be was a professional musician. If anybody ever asked me, that's what I wanted to be. And I was sort of by, teachers and mentors and my parents kind of encouraged to have something to fall back on, so to
Hmm.
speak. I don't know that you can make a living as a musician. Maybe you need to have something to fall back on. Maybe you could be a music teacher, or maybe you could
Hmm.
do this or whatever. And then as I got into middle and high school, I really felt a call into ministry, into some kind of ministry. I was working a lot as a youth volunteer and working in children's ministry and doing things like that, and really felt a fulfillment there. But I had this dream, this goal of being on a stage and playing music for lots of people and maybe writing music for other people, and I just had this dream. And it's interesting that sometimes when you surrender that plan A, what you thought was plan A, when you surrender that to God's plan A, which for me was going into ministry,
Hmm.
it's just interesting to me the way that music has still been so much a part of my life. And you and I do gig as professional musicians on the weekends, and so it's almost like I didn't have to really give up on that dream. And I have had the opportunity to play on stages at large festivals and big things. My brothers and I played a couple of years ago at a motorcycle festival a couple of hours from where we live, and we played for 10,000 people, and that was unbelievable. Who could have hoped for more? But it was almost like I surrendered what I thought I wanted to do from what God was calling me to do, and to go into that. And He said, "Okay, you can have this too as a little
Also,
bonus."
yeah,
I think that was nice.
yeah, I like that.
So I think in a way we could be sad for Moses that he doesn't get to
Hmm.
go into the promised land. But as our local rabbi likes to point out, we do see at that event in Yeshua's life that we call the Transfiguration on top of this mountain,
Mm.
he's visited by two people. He's visited by Moses and Elijah. And so our local rabbi likes to say he did eventually get to go into the promised land, just not then.
Plan B.
It was his plan B. It was God's plan A. So I think it probably would have been. I think if God would have given him the choice, okay, you can go in there now with this group of people that you've been leading for 40 years,
Yeah.
or you can go in and see the Messiah revealed and, later, and who knows what he would have chosen. But sometimes our plan B is really God's plan A. And
Yeah, I think it's a good way to look at life, is just to like make plans. You know what I mean? You have plans because God wants us to not just sit around and be idle. He wants us to, do the work, but to be flexible and aware enough that if God shifts things, because he does see the ultimate, layout, that if he shifts it, that we don't look at it as a consolation prize, but look at it as, okay, this is God's best for me. He wants me here, so this I may feel like it's plan B and a consolation prize, but really this is what he wants me, and to have that attitude of being able to just shift our focus of, all right, we had a plan, but God said we're doing this, so now we're doing this, and so it's kind of hard sometimes, I think, but it's definitely something we should practice, because if we look at it as a consolation prize, it almost seems like negative. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think of consolation prizes as not even really a prize. It's more like, yeah, we feel bad for you, so here's this. You know what I mean? Whereas that's definitely not how we should look at God's direction in our life.
So does that mean even though you're not coaching high school girls volleyball, you'd be willing to coach a men's volleyball team of one player? Because I'm ready.
I don't think you'd be able to do very well, but sure. One player's not enough, is what I mean by that. Not that it's this player.
I also can't move very fast. I'm not very mobile, and I can't get down really low and get that ball.
Yeah, volleyball's not going to be your sport.
Maybe if you're watching, you can put in the comments that you want to join my volleyball team.
Maybe bowling's more your sport.
Bowling, that's quite good. Our son-in-law is a bowler. Maybe he can help me with that. You don't have to move so much with the bowling.
And it's a one-person game.
Well, here is to your new year, and to maybe looking at this year, maybe look through the lens of what you think your plans are might not be the best thing for you. What you think you want to do, maybe God has the better idea, and maybe we need to be flexible and dynamic and able to be malleable in the hands of the potter. So this is us wishing you a wonderful new year in 5786, and we'll be back with you in a couple of weeks when we start all the way back in Parashat Bereshit. And I have kind of an idea of where we're going this next year, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm toying with the idea of going in a slightly different direction for next year, but we'll keep that a surprise until the next time we meet. So thank you once again for joining us. All the best to you and your family in this new year. Shalom.